The History of the Internet. Presented by Ismailin Reyes.
First, let's get familiar with the topic. So, for us to be able to understand the internet's origins, we need to know that the internet that we use every day for sending emails, making calls, and doing online banking started just as an idea. Over many years of innovation, the idea grew into a powerful global communication system that we know today. Let me give you a little bit more context. To understand where the internet came from, we need to go back to 1957. At that time, computers were very basic, they were huge, and they could only do only one task at a time. They were nothing like the fast, easy to use, and um, easy to use machine that we know today. So the internet history or the internet's story shows how technology has advanced over the years. What began as a small experiment became a huge worldwide network that connects millions of people, businesses, and information all across the planet.
Early computing era. How were computers back in before 1957? In the 1950s, computers could only do one task at a time, as we mentioned before. This process was called batch processing. They were huge machines kept in cold. The beginning of networking from 1957 to 1960s. In 1957, developers started using remote connections and time sharing, allowing several users to work on the same computer at once. The same year, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, which led the US to create DARPAT, Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, to improve technology and communication between researchers. Then, DARPAT wanted to build a large computer network to share information faster, and this idea eventually became the ARPANET. It's important to understand that the foundation of today's internet is based in three concepts. So back in the day, at the same time, other countries were developing their own networks. Rand Corporation in the US, they work on a military network. National Physical Laboratory, NPL, in England, they focused on a commercial network. And then we had Cyclidis Network in France, built a scientific network. These three ideas, military, commercial, and scientific, altogether became the foundation of today's internet. Understanding ARPANET connections and protocols. ARPANET connections and protocols in 1966. ARPANET development began in 1966. Universities didn't want to share their main computers, so smaller ones called IMPs, interface message processors, were added to manage network communication. The first protocol used was NCP, later replaced by TCP, which could verify data transfer more efficiently. Packet switching. In England, the MPL team invented packet switching, which split information into small parts called packets. These packets travel separately and are reassembled at the at the destination, making data transfer faster and more relatable. As you may know, wars have played an important role in evolution, and the and technology, and especially the internet, is not an exception. Cold War and decentralized networks. During the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962, the US feared that a nuclear attack could destroy centralized communication systems. This led to the idea of decentralized network, where if one part failed, others would still work. This design became essential for the internet's resilience. There are two keywords that we should remember: security and communication. Decentralized networks enhance communication resilience. Communication, critical for maintaining connection during crisis. How the internet concept was born. So basically, the Securities network in France was focused on connecting different networks. This introduced the idea of internetworking, which is where the word internet comes from. It also used an end-to-end communication structure, meaning that computers didn't process the data, it only passed it. Now, let's summarize how the network communication standardization was possible. Before modern protocols, systems like X.25 were used mainly for paid data services through phone companies. For example, banks used X.25 to send card transaction data securely over phone lines. Then, the OSI model introduced the idea of layered communication to help unify how networks should interact. As more networks appeared, compatibility became a major need. That's why TCP/IP eventually became the global standard. It combined the strongest ideas and allowed all networks to connect. Finally, by 1990, the ARPANET hardware was shut down, but the internet continued to grow using the TCP/IP system. What began as a military and academic experiment became the powerful global network we use today. From military to global network. Thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation and that you have learned a lot.